Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Knox Makers. It is Tuesday evening, and that means that by tradition, we're gathered to do show and share together, an opportunity for everybody in the Knox Makers community and the larger community to show off projects they've been working on recently. Successful or maybe not so successful. First off this evening, our friend Sean is going to show off Lego printmaking.
Yeah, so Lego sells this set they call dots. It's basically just a collection of pieces they already make, all the flat, smooth pieces, if you're familiar with Lego. And so they have a few different shapes that are involved. And I saw some people doing a printmaking thing with it because they're all the same height and because you can just reconfigure them on a plate. They're infinitely customizable. And so I got a set and have been experimenting a little bit. And so the sets include just all colors. It doesn't matter because you're printing with it, but you know, some squares, some like rounded corners, some rounded ends, and then just single round dots. And so you can kind of play around with it a little bit, and then you kind of just roll screen printing ink on top, and then burnish it with whatever on top, and you can pull some pretty decent prints off of it. And so just in a few minutes of tinkering, I've been just going through the letters, just kind of figuring out how to do different styles. So up top's just A, and different ways you can do that with different combinations of pieces. Learn very quickly that yes, you have to mirror everything, especially if your letters are not bilaterally symmetrical. Because otherwise you'll just be printing in backwards, and that's what happened with this. Tried making, if you couldn't tell, that was supposed to be part of the Knox Makers logo. Looks, this part looks all right. Kind of hard to make a hexagon in a system that is likes only to do 90-degree angles, but it's getting there. But yeah, when I went to go print it, when you put it the right way, the M is upside down. It's a W, so we're Knox Makers. So we're just face the other way. So yeah, I just gotta figure out to turn that upside down. But yeah, and then after a few tries, got pretty decent prints. And it kind of has this nice aesthetic I like a little bit. Just you can kind of see the gaps in between the tiles a little bit, and it's unique. But you can do all sorts of shapes. Like I said, I'm working on just how to make the different letters. Like V. How do you do a V on something that again has to have only 90-degree angles and stuff. But I've been having some fun with it. I haven't had it for that long, but I've been just tinkering around. But it's really easy to do, and because they include so much, if people are interested, I'd love to do a class on it, just sort of maybe a Friday night thing, because you just grab a base plate and a few dots and stuff and just place it down, and if it doesn't look right, you just pull the tiles up and do it again. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Any questions? All right, thanks.
Is this a facility that exists or that will exist in arts and crafts?
I mean, this is my personal set, but...
Yeah, but can we all use it, though? Thank you, Sean. That's really swell. Did we ascertain if James is ready?
I think I've seen behind the door. I think he's ready.
Okay, great. So next up, we've got James, who has brought a fox to show us. A fox.
Hello, this is my 2018 summer project. I am James, the transplant from Texas. I'm taking this off. This was oh yeah, I haven't found the ice vest during the move, so I am boiling in this thing already. So I'm not sure what to say about this other than trying to show it off. This was a project I did back in 2018. I was taught how to make this by a professional fursuiter. One of the things about it is the base design for how I got the template for the fabrics was actually using a Tyvek coverall suit from the Home Depot and just kind of fitting that as a loose fit. and then just cutting along its seams for all the fabric. One of the odd things about fur fabric is it's very directional. So when you're trying to plan out your patterns, you're wanting to make sure that everything the fur has a grain, so you're wanting to make sure it goes down from all the different directions, and you have to put your patterns to match the grain, so in it where you can't really optimize the fabric as much as you would hope, and it's a bit expensive. Most of this suit was done with a sewing machine, a standard sewing machine, but the hands had to be hand sewn. They're a bit too detailed to try and get through a sewing machine, and the fur gets around gets through the sewing seams a little too much. So if you see, I do have toe beans and claws. Oh, and here we go. Forgot. You see that? So a lot of this is hot glue to help hold everything in together. I also have the shoes. The shoes, the easiest trick I was told for this was just get some old tennis shoes and glue it onto them. It's going to be the most comfortable way to try and make some custom shoes. The mask is really what's said to make the suit. Let's see if you can... I don't know if we'll be able to actually focus on this. So the way that the person that showed me how to make this, as a professional fursuit maker, his best advice was, if you are short on a budget, just make the mask. You can have an entire costume ready if it's just the head and you're just wearing a regular outfit. So the head alone can make the entire suit. It can also break the entire suit. You can have a great rest of the costume, but if the face is messed up, it's not going to look as good as you hope. Among the tricks for here, so for the eye, this is a glass hemisphere with the eye painted on the back. And the biggest trick is it magnifies it like 5 times bigger, so you're trying to do the iris is really tiny. It's a bit of a pain. And the space I actually see through is actually this layer right here, kind of like the back of the eye. I can't tell if you can really see that, but essentially like the very corner of your eye is just a thin layer of pantyhose, and that's all I get to see. My vision is almost nothing in here. The mouth is hinged, and it's positioned so that I can actually use my jaw to move it a little. Around the edge, this is like just some, I forget what it was, but it's just like epoxy putty. Helps give the black edge feel and helps to clean up the fur on the end. A lot of the detailing on here, like where it looks like there would be whiskers, is just airbrushing. Trying to do actual whiskers is a real pain, so just doing some dots to show where the whiskers would normally be is a great detail to add. The mask, like I said, is the most complicated part. Where it makes or breaks the whole suit, it's also going to be the most complicated. I believe this piece had about 15 different panels that had to be sewn together. And it had a couple 3D printed hinges that I 3D printed to help make the jaw mechanism. And the internal mask part was actually part of what I press? I don't know. I messed something up. Okay. So the mask is actually part of not a roto mold, but a rotating mold where you would put some 2-part casting resins, and you would rotate it around to be able to make the main mask part. It runs into the thing that mold is probably like $500. So this whole suit together for raw materials cost me about $600 because I was able to reuse some of the materials and tools that he already had. Like I said, a lot of the details on the fur are all airbrushed on, and I had to have his help for that. I am not good with the artistic final details. One of the big things that he showed me, he had a full suit that he had made that was a failed suit that looks absolutely ridiculous. Anytime you're planning a color palette, you want to start with your fur being a light color and then airbrushing on dark. It does not work the other way around. He tried to do a black suit with white spots, and the black, no matter how much he tried to airbrush the white on, still showed through. So if he ever made that suit again, he would actually do a white suit and airbrush everything else black around where he wanted the dots, because it just did not work the other way. There's foam inside the ears to help give some structure. And most of this mask is just like hot glued onto the mask. If you can kind of see, we actually like shaved down the fur around the nose to help give it a cleaner look, and then left it thicker in the back. So the fur all came in the same thickness, and we just have to like take a little razor blade to shave it down. Any questions? Yes?
How did you do the nose?
I forget, I think this was part of the mold, spray painted black, and then again with a little bit of the epoxy around the edges, just to help give it that final touch. This was like 6 years ago. I don't remember every detail. Any other questions? Yes.
I saw a zipper on the mask. Do you have a problem with the furs jamming the zipper?
All the time. That's why I needed 10 minutes to get prepared. So like one of the things you can see, like I have to write back, and I believe I should have an arrow some here showing the direction that I wanted. You can see each one of these panels to be able to try and get the shape. Any other questions? Yes?
How long did it take you to make that thing?
About 2 months over the course of the summer. And like I said, for raw materials, this cost me $600. I originally wanted to make this for my company's Halloween costume contest because I wanted to win, and I lost to a cardboard xenomorph. So, one of the things I would have done is I would have made this bigger. I have put on some weight over the last 6 years, and it is a real pain to get back on. Any other questions? Yes?
Yes, what does the fox say?
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Well, that is a really well realized project, and I certainly appreciate willingness to suffer for your art. Also, I love the web browser. That actually was our only shares tonight. Did anybody else bring anything neat to share with us before we move on? Yes, ma'am.
As promised, this is part 2 of the share. I had talked a while back about making a quilt. We had done the cleaning in the fiber arts area and had found a panel, a dinosaur panel. And what young man or anybody actually wouldn't love a dinosaur quilt? So first was designing it. This was my attempt to go into Inkscape. I think it did fairly well with actually measuring the pieces. Next, I started the actual assembly. I used a new to me tool. So after sewing on some welting, you use this tool, the groove, to go over the welting and then cut the selvage off. What do you see wrong with the picture? I'm cutting on the wrong side. Oops. Okay, the ruler's over here. The ruler should be protecting the panel, not. Yeah, okay, so next up, for the border, which in my design I had just had blue, I found this on Amazon, I'll be honest there, and it's like the exact same print, although it was a different artist name. So I thought, ooh, this would be great for the border. Next up, I tried to use fabric that I had, thought I had enough. I cut strips. I was going to do a small square and then realized, oh, I don't have enough. So I laid the other blue fabrics I had near it, and they didn't match either. So design change number 2, how can I, instead of doing a square, if it can indeed find the right color fabric, make it so it doesn't say, hello, this square's out of something else. So that was a design change. Sorry about that. Next up, I was doing the border, and on all of my corners, all but one, I was able to do a diagonal, which those of us who do corners on quilts know how difficult that can be to maybe match fabric so you don't see it. You might recognize the red plaid as the ironing board, and you can see how it doesn't quite line up with the third one. So I had to go with design change 3. For the back, I wanted to do stars because in my head, I was thinking that I could take the dinosaurs and quilt around the shape of the dinosaur. I was going to quilt out and do the tails out into the border. I thought that'd be really cool. And on the flip side, with the starry background, it would look like the dinosaurs in space, right? All the constellations, they could just join it. Well, it turned out that that was a good idea, but I didn't have much time to get it done, so I went with another plan. Hopefully, whoop, wrong direction. You can see the dinosaur here. This is, of course, Tyrannosaurus Rex. And there. And I thought, yay, this is going to work for once on this project. Yes. And then I did some more quilting. And up came this. In the quilting world, those are called eyelashes, which the bobbin thread isn't quite or the top thread and the bobbin thread aren't quite cooperating, and yeah. So I got to rip all that out and play with my tension on my machine and got that squared away. But onward I went. I kept going. Yeah, here's some more eyelashes. So I got to the binding. Well, the binding is a 2.5-inch strip you sew all the way around, and it's the width of the fabric, which is 42 inches. So you have to sew a whole bunch of them together to be able to get all the way around. What you're seeing here is where I sewed them together, and it just happened to land right on the corner. And a part of me thought, all right, that's it, cut it and move it up so it's not on the corner. The other part of me said, no, you can either have the quilt done or you can have it perfect. I'm just going to go for done, and went on. So this part, again, is showing that little piece there in the corner. But it's also showing the diagonal, and I was really pleased with how those did come out. I got to the very end where the two bindings join each other. And as you can see, it just barely matched. And I couldn't do it on the diagonal, and you know what? It's better done than not at all, so I'm just going to straight seam it. I'm moving on. Oh, that's the next quilt. To be continued another time. But I do want to share one thing I decided for the corners was I had shown this before. This was my first attempt. What am I going to do for the corner? What I ended up doing, oh, you're going to have to look at this upside down. Can you see it? So up close, the navy blue thread blends right into the navy blue background. So yeah, you don't really see it. All you see are the dinosaurs. And I'm pretty happy with the finished project. You're welcome to come over to Arts and Craft, or the Fiber Arts channel, or station area, and take a look at it. Oh yeah, that's right. Billy wants me on this side. Could you? I don't know if you can see the design on the front, or if this is the back with all the different quilting of the dinosaurs. And then I just did a diamond on the back. So, yeah. One of the things I did do was try and select for the side borders. Thank you, Isaac. For the side borders, I tried to select fabric that looked like reptile. So, yeah. And I could probably go on for 20, 30 minutes, but that's called a lightning talk, yes. So come over to Fiber Arts and take a closer look if you're interested. In the meantime, thank you.
Very lovely work. You may want this back. Yes, you have a share as well?
Yeah, I have a couple of things.
Please, please.
I'm constantly amazed at the creativity of people. It just blows me away. And the need for patience, which that I don't have much of. I'm doing stained glass, so I can show you a couple of my latest things. Let's see what we got here. Does that work? So I've been making stained glass covers for night lights. So that's one. There's another one. That's hard to tell, but this is actually supposed to be a whale, like you're seeing the end of his body and his tail. It came out like, okay. That one's really pretty glass. And I also appreciate, where's she went outside, trying to use up scraps. You know, just like fabric, glass is very expensive. This is, Celtic design. I thought it'd be a good thing to sell, nightlight covers, you know? And then, this I'm kind of proud of because it was difficult and it came pretty well. I have two friends who are two grandparents one is her first grandchild. So I made two of these. You can't see in the picture, but there's Swarovski beads for the eyes, blue, and then a little pink bead for the nose. And I thought I had one more, but now I don't see it. So I did notice on Mattermost that someone was asking if the metalworking class was applicable to jewelry. Is that person in here? Because I have done metal jewelry, and if you're interested, I could probably start you off on that.
No, come talk to me afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Very lovely. Thank you for sharing that. Did anyone else have anything? Yes, sir.
How's it going? I'm Brian, this is Child.
Is that the creation?
You're not going to believe how we made her. So, there's a common understanding of people who work on houses. They always live in a house that is undone. So, I have something to report. I have been working on a project house for the last 2 years, and it is getting close to being done. So I'm going to move into it just to stop all progress. The house I've been living in is actually done. I know. Don't worry, I already sold it, it's gone. So, any rate, in the process, we had some professional pictures taken, and I just thought, I take terrible pictures of things, and I just thought I'd share some of these things that I've done over the years. And you've seen some of these over the last like 5 years, but some of them I definitely never got around to. A number of years ago, I bought a couple thousand board feet of ash. So pretty much everything that I built into this house ends up being ash. Let's see how to zoom in. So this is one of the bathrooms downstairs. I built this vanity. This one was kind of cool. I built another one in a different bathroom that was like a piece of furniture, but this one wouldn't fit like through all the doors to get in there, so I actually had to build it flat pack and build it in place. I thought it came out really nice. Here's another view of it. I forget the name now. There's a British guy, of course he's British. He designed these park benches that were specifically designed to be uncomfortable to sit on to keep homeless people from sleeping on them, because this guy sucks. So it's a Nelson bench, that's what it is. Anyways, I like the look of them. You've seen these things, you've sat on them and you're like, oh, I don't want to be here. So anyways, I flipped the bench upside down, so like the bottom rack on all of my vanities are a Nelson bench. I thought that was a better utilization of it. That's a nothing room, that's a nothing room. Oh, this is another bathroom I did. I thought this one came out really nice. I did some like architectural tile on this, which I think it looks really awesome, but you should hire someone to put that stuff up, because when you go to float the grout into it, your float doesn't lay flat anywhere. So you end up like scrubbing all the grout out basically with your bare hands. And so your hands have oils, well, your skin is made up of oils and other things. And then, your grout is a strong base, which, all the chemistry folks know, like that's the saponification reaction. Everyone knows that. So anyways, what it does is it turns your skin into soap. So it dissolves your skin as you're working with it. And while I was doing this, I was just like bleeding out. And so I had to go back and repaint the room multiple times because all the bloody handprints wouldn't cover. Oh, this is a nice little built-in. You can't hardly see it, but there's some of my ash there. Another ash built in. This is my room. I'm really proud of this one. I built pretty much all the furniture in this one, including the bed, nightstands, everything like that. This room, there's no before pictures on any of this, by the way, because if any of you guys are like code inspectors, like you don't need to see that. So let's just say when I bought the house, it looked just like this. So I thought this came out really nice. The side tables there, they're quarter sawn white oak. The bed is made out of mora wood, which was left over. It's basically a railroad tie that I've been carrying around for like almost a decade now. It was for a project that I did in the oil fields like forever ago, and I'm like, this stuff is just pretty. So I've been carting this thing around to like 3 houses. I finally actually milled it up and turned it into a bed. It was absolutely horrible. It's like the hardest stuff I've ever worked with. And you know how like some wood smells really nice, like cedar. Everyone's like, you know what cedar smells like? It's great. When you mill this stuff, it smells like throw up. Like when I would run it through the table saw, I would have to stop halfway through the cut to take a breath over my shoulder and like try to power on. Absolutely terrible. This is my built-in closet. Pictures don't show up very well, but I wanted this one to be nautical. So the whole thing actually wraps seamlessly around the room. There's no hard corners in it. So it's got like a 2-foot radius around the corner. And that's all cherry that I actually cut that tree down when I was like 15. Came off my parents' farm like up in Michigan. I've been carting it. I cart too many things around anyway. This is the bathroom I did. So this is another one of those vanities. This one's kind of cool because it actually has a waterfall edge. So the wood on the top continues to grain right down the side. I thought it came out really nice. Yeah, tile. You've seen tile before. Windows. What I actually want to show you is my kitchen. Oh, this one's kind of cool. So I'll show you another picture in just a second. I have a custom table, which is a non-standard height. And I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I was just trying to fit it into my island. But because I made it a weird height, you can't actually buy chairs that fit it. So I had to make these benches like specifically to the height of the table. And so they're not that great. It was just like some scrap lumber I had sitting around, but we had like people coming over in like 4 hours, so I came and like knocked these out real quick. This thing here in the back, I actually didn't make that, but you guys might get a kick out of it. Do you guys know who Barry Gordy is? Okay, the guy who founded Motown Records. So I used to run by his house like every day back in undergrad. And right before I moved away from Detroit, I ran by and there was like an estate sale going on. Like he had moved out to LA and his family was selling all of his crap. So I got to go in there like the last day. So this is after they'd already sold all the like, the $20,000 pianos and everything like that. And I really just wanted to like go through his house because I'm, creepy like that, and I just want to see, how rich people live. So it'd be fun. So I'm going through, and you can like put a bid on things, and that table was like the first thing when you walked in, and it had like a little boom box for mood music, and it said welcome. And I don't think anyone realized that table was for sale, and so I was the only bid on it. I got it for like $50. And so I have Barry Gordy's table. It was in his basement bar, and I just think that was fun. Okay, my kitchen. So this is my kitchen. This thing's kind of cool. The whole thing's built out of poplar. One of the more interesting things on it, so you can see like a little bit of a table hanging out right there. So I have a 7-foot long table, 4-foot by 7-foot long table that fully gets put away into the island. And it pulls out to seat, like 7-8 people. I think it's pretty nice. No, so I actually recently built another island. I'll show you that one in a couple weeks. That's for my buddy's place. We're waiting on countertops to come in. So I built, theirs is actually bigger than this, but I think it came out gold. The drawers on these things, like they're rated for like 300 pounds. They're 3 feet deep, and so when you pull them out, they fully fill up that whole like walkway there. They're just absolutely massive. The door in the back I built, that's maple. It's got some nice fluted glass in it. The room behind that is the pantry. I took out a couple walls and took over a closet from the bedroom behind it to do that. You can see some other views. Oh, this window. So this is like a 2-foot by like 12-foot window. This thing's pretty cool. It just makes it look like it's a painting. Anyways, this is some architect friends of mine. They told me to do this, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I did it, and I was super happy. So.
Is that granite countertop?
Quartz. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you see this back here? That's me. I have a problem. I get it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're almost to the end of them here. Anyways, I think that looks like a postcard. I just really liked it. So. Here's our pantry, so you can see like all the storage and stuff. I'm not big into putting doors on stuff. I just like to be able to walk in and see what's all going on. Oh, one thing I want to say. Now, you can't really see it. So right here, I missed up by like this much. If I'd have thought ahead, I could have made that opening 2 inches wider, and then like a standard beer or wine fridge would have fit in there. So future self, just try to plan ahead a little bit more. Yeah, so you can see all the things. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I got to show you. Here's another one. So you can kind of see that little like architectural feature hanging out there. That's something. It's been an ongoing project for a while now, and I don't want to blame someone, but I feel like someone needs to be blamed. So I had this idea that I could have this architectural panel in the house, or I guess on the facade of the house. There it is. You can kind of see it hanging out right there. So I actually lasered that out of just some underlayment, thinking like I just want to see how this will look. And so I did a couple different ones, and this is the one I kind of landed on. Of course, it's like a terrible view of it. You don't care about a yard, but anyway. So I lasered it out, and I put it up there. I'm like, that looks great. I'll just wait until the CNC plasma gets going, and then I'll just make the real one. And anyway, so I'm selling the house, and it's still like the underlayment just hanging out there. It's lasted 2 years, or probably almost 3 years like that. It's kind of impressive, like whoever designed the underlayment, like really killing it. I put in this deck, which is covered in all my plants right now. That's out of Ipe, which is like a type of ironwood, comes out of South America. Extremely dense, extremely hard, and at the very end, I put a metal grating across the whole thing because my plants live out here every summer, and because they just like soak up the sun and heat out there. And so I didn't want to put the plants directly on wood because it would leave rings. So I set them on this grating all the way across, and then I can just water straight through and never leaves a mark. I highly recommend it, especially if you're thinking about an epay deck, which is $22 per linear foot. It's very expensive. So it saves an enormous amount of money just to fill in some of it with like this metal grating. So anyway, that's my house. Yes, this is not a shameless plug because it's already gone, but I just figured you guys should appreciate it a little bit like I did. So anyways, thanks.
Yeah, it's amazing. You just made this come together for me. I think a significant portion of my home is built out of underlayment examples. I think there was maybe one more share. Does somebody else have something? Yes, sir.
So we took a break of wood turning classes for the month of August, but now we're back. So on the calendar as of this morning are the next 2 wood turning classes. And I just wanted to remind people that on the 19th of this month, we will have the As the Lathe Turns, which is our version of a little bit of a social gathering on a Thursday night. The theme for this next one, we timed it for adequate time. We're going to have some examples of easy and quick things to make for holiday gifts or holiday decorations. So that will be Thursday night, the 19th. And everybody's welcome. You do not have to be a wood turner. You do not have to have taken any of the classes. There are no fees. It's just come, talk, see what everybody's doing. That's it. Oh, and there will be a couple of small lamps on display.
Shameless lamp pandering. Okay, so I've got a few announcements to share with you all this evening. First of all, I wanted to let you know, if you hadn't already noticed, that Sunday, September the 8th, from 12 until 4, we have an Intro to Metalworking class coming up. That is basically MIG 101. This is a popular and desirable and lovely class, and for the moment, there are tickets available. So if you haven't had this class already, you might like to sign up for that right away. Also, we have a class coming up on Monday, which will be September the 9th, that has not managed to make it on the calendar yet, but hopefully we'll get that accomplished tomorrow. On Monday, though, John Dale is going to be doing a robot building class for the upcoming Kill Switch tournament. So if you would like to build a robot, if you would like to do that for funsies, or as a practice, or as a learning, then you'll have an opportunity to do that on Monday. And our tradition is that, when you build the example robot out of underlayment, if you want, you can keep it for a fee, basically our cost of materials, and then you can fight it and beat the brakes off it, or you can give it back and then build your own robot out of whatever you like. The upcoming Kill Switch tournament is Kill Switch Classic, not Kill Switch Cardboard, which means you can use materials like metals and plastics in abundance as long as you stay under the 3-pound limit. So I know that we've got several folks engineering robots already. I'm looking forward to some mayhem. I hope that you'll participate in that. It is a fun time. Also, I will remind you that we have the Fall Maker Market just around the corner. That is happening on Saturday, October the 12th. And significantly, we are accepting vendor sign-ups already. Remember that Knox Makers members get preferential treatment, as is right and proper. So if you have not yet signed up, but you'd like to have a booth at the market, we do have a few slots left, and you can get one for cheap. So you should do that right away at market.knoxmakers.org. Also, we need some help making the market magic happen. And to that effect, we will hear from someone who likes lamps.
Thank you, sir. I love lamp. I actually did make something. We have this handy dandy sheet that shows volunteer opportunities for the Makers Market, which this time will be in the evening, so we're going to have lights and everything. So this will be in hospitality. Please sign up for something or anything. If there's nothing there that floats your boat, as it were, there's a area down here, all the other stuff. So put your name in here somewhere. We'll need lots of help to make this thing go. We'll need like volunteers to get Thunderdome ready for the robot competition. Tracy did a great job getting that thing ready last time. Tracy's not here, is she? No. Anyway, thank you, Tracy. Isaac and Paul worked on the lighting. We've got to have that figured out. We've got to do decorating. So let's all pull together to make this happen. On another note, there will be a lamp making competition, which will be judged at the market. So get to work building your lamp. Next weekend, we will be announcing the lamp making class so that you will be able to learn the basics of how to wire things up so they don't turn into blue smoke and fire like I do. And yeah, we'll light it up. So please help us get this market up and running to be the best, and thank you, Aliki, for ramrodding this. You the best. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, you said it all.
All right, we said it all. Let's do it. All right.
Thanks, Russell. And I just want to add one thing to that, if I may, which is to say that we have all kinds of volunteer opportunities available. So if you would just like to mindlessly conduct labor, or if you have control over human beings who you can cause to mindlessly conduct labor, there's plenty of opportunity. But there's also completely labor-free options. There's the info booth where you get to sit and talk to people merrily, or you can give tours of the workshop. Lots of different opportunities, something for everyone, and it's fun. Also, I want to mention something that I am well excited about, which is that Halloween is around the corner. What's this you say? It's too early? No, it's not. If anything, it's late. And among the things that are happening is the Knox Makers Spook Show. If you have not done this before, then I'm sorry. You should do it this time. Years and years ago, somebody said, hey, you're spooky. Why don't you make some sort of a Halloween celebration for our amusement? And I said, I will do that. And so every year since, I pick out movies and short films, and I gather together an obscene amount of pizza and soda and junk food, and we hang out here and have a wicked time. And we're going to do that again on Saturday, October the 19th. And so I would encourage you to save that date, make plans to be here and celebrate the very best of all holidays. And if you wouldn't mind, it would be super cool if you RSVP'd on the calendar so I know just how much pizza to buy. Okay, anything else? Just want to mention, please do check on the trash and the air filters, see if those things need any attention. I know that you will. And if you are new, if this is your first time at Knox Makers tonight, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Please be sure that we have an opportunity to answer any questions you may have. And if you've not already gotten a tour of the shop, just look for somebody with a name badge and we'll be extra delighted to show you around. Thanks everyone for being with us this evening. Let's go out in the workshop and make some neat stuff.